This is the second part of a 5-part series. This video looks at understanding boat balance to be able to use it to our best effect on the water. When you first learn to sail, you're normally told to keep the boat flat. This is a good starting point to be able to maintain control of the boat with the rudder. There are lots of different forces acting on the boat, and understanding them will help us to sail more efficiently and avoid losing control. These diagrams show a boat from in front and above. To keep things simple, we're only going to look at the forwards element of power from the sail and not the sideways forces. The green dot and arrow represent an approximate average of the sail's power. This is called the centre of effort. The centre of effort is normally about 1/3 up and 1/3 along the sail, although it can move about a bit. The forwards movement of a boat is slowed down by water resistance. I have shown this here in red. You can see that in an upright position, the forward force from the sail is slightly out of line with the water resistance. This will create a small turning force on the boat, trying to turn the bow towards the wind. We can counteract this with a small amount of rudder. Having to pull the tiller to the weather or windward side to maintain a straight course is called weather helm. This is quite normal due to the way boats are designed, so that the rudder works with the board to provide a bit of extra lateral resistance. The boat is now starting to heel over to leeward. This is because we have become overpowered, or we're not set out far enough, or a bit of both. You can see that the centre of effort of the sail has now become much further away from the water resistance created by the hull. This greatly increases the turning force acting on the boat, and the boat will really want to turn into the wind. You notice this in the boat because you have to pull the tiller much harder to be able to sail in a straight line. Look at the rudder. To counteract the turning force generated by the leeward heel, we need to pull the tiller further to the windward side. The rudder works a bit like the sail, with water flowing along either side of the rudder blade. The sideways force created by the rudder blade is at roughly 90 degrees. Here we can see that increasing the angle of the rudder has created a larger steering force to pull the back of the boat upwind, counteracting the leeward heel pushing the bow into the wind. You can see though that the force from a rudder is not all sideways. The more we turn the rudder, the more we are slowing the boat down, because the force created is pointing further and further backwards. The rudder is sometimes referred to as a handbrake because the more we pull it, the slower we go. This boat is being sailed with too much leeward heel. Look how much the tiller is being pulled to the windward side to keep the boat sailing in a straight line. Getting the boat flat by moving our body weight or depowering the sail will make it more efficient and easier to control. If you're constantly being overpowered, you should consider reefing the sail to be able to keep the boat flat. Here, the rudder completely loses water flow and stalls because it's being turned too sharply that the water can't flow around it anymore. The turning forces from the leeward heel take over, and the boat is turning towards the wind despite the amount of rudder being used. Boats like this laser and high-performance dinghies tend to have rudders that are quite small relative to their sail area. These boats will turn right round into the wind if we allow too much leeward heel. So, in general, leeward heel isn't very helpful for us in a dinghy. There are a few occasions where we might use it on purpose. To turn into the wind, even a small amount of leeward heel will help the boat to steer. Notice that I'm not holding the tiller, the rudder is simply following the boat along. Here I move towards the middle of the boat to create a small amount of leeward heel to start the turn. Bringing the boat flat again will remove the turning force to sail on in a new direction. In really light winds, a bit of leeward heel can help the sail to fall into its proper shape, helping to encourage the air to flow over it. Alternatively, we could roll the boat towards us and induce windward heel. This brings the centre of effort of the sail above the water resistance of the hull. By balancing out the turning forces, we neutralise the rudder and therefore reduce the drag caused by steering. The board will also be less efficient, and we lose any help with sideways resistance from a rudder. Windward heel is most useful when sailing downwind, on a broad reach or a run, where we don't need as much sideways resistance anyway. If we're sailing upwind, we still want a flat boat so that the daggerboard can work most effectively. The other benefit of heeling the boat is that it reduces the wetted surface area. This is the surface area of the hull that is in contact with the water, and the less there is, the less friction we experience between the two. We might also use windward heel to help the boat to bear away, that's to turn away from a wind. Watch the horizon here, I'm not holding a tiller. Leaning out hard to induce windward heel makes the boat bear away. Moving back into the boat to bring it more upright will reduce the turn again to maintain a straight course. See that I've kept a small amount of windward heel to steer the boat straight. With a good understanding of how boat balance and the sail settings affect the turning of a boat, we can work in harmony with a boat to achieve our aims and to be more efficient. If it feels like you're fighting against the boat, try and work out if it's the sails or your boat balance that's causing the problem. It could be a combination of both. I hope you found this helpful. You might enjoy the other videos in this series. Next up, we're looking at trim. Feel free to ask any questions below. Please subscribe so you can be kept up to date and find the videos again in the future.